What's up, guys? Gogan here, coming at you with another advice video. Today I want to talk about test taking, right? You've applied to a studio, they gave you a test back. They replied and they said, "Hey, we want you to take a test before we hire you. See how you're doing. See how you are, right?" And this is kind of a big issue in the industry, okay? Should you be given a test, and should you take the test? Should they demand a test from you? And the answer is up in the air, right? Because in my personal experience, right, honestly, at Squanch Games, where I work right now, they did not give me a test. They just went off of my demo reel, right? My demo reel was really good and it was really awesome, right? But there were certain things on my demo reel that I was better at than at other things, okay? And when I started doing work at Squanch, in my personal opinion, it wasn't at the level that it needed to be at for the position that they hired me for, okay? Luckily, I was able to fix that, right? And I was able to do things and get to the level I need to be at now, but at the time I wasn't. And so to me, the test, I wish they would have given me a test so they knew more of what I was capable of at the time, okay? And I think that there's a huge thing where I've seen tons and tons of demo reels, and people have these really nicely lit shots and really nice looking shots that are super polished and everything, but then these animators will also have personal shots on their reel that aren't that great. And there is a huge difference in doing shots for a studio and getting all this feedback from the studio and the directors and everything and putting that on your reel, and then doing your own personal work, right? There's a huge thing. You're getting all this feedback from these leads in your studio, but then when you're doing your personal work, you don't have that same thing. And so I honestly think that a test is a good way to gauge how what the animator can do, because quite frankly, they're some of their shots on their reel don't show exactly what they can do on their own. So giving tests to somebody to see what their skill level is, I think it's a good idea. Now it really comes down to pay, right? And should companies pay an animator to take the test? I think it would be a good idea for companies to do that, because the animator's using up a lot of their time to take this test, and the company they're not just doing it in a couple of hours. It's taking them a long time to do this test, especially because they want to get the job at the studio. Now that's one side of it. Let's go to the other side of it. It's if you're a more beginning animator, or maybe not a beginning animator, maybe you've always wondered this, but in my personal experience and in my personal opinion, if you get a test to get a job at a studio and they give you a week or 2 weeks or whatever, take every last minute and second that you get, okay? Don't think that you have to do the test and rush it and I want to get this done as fast as possible, and I want to get it back in two days. So they give me a week, I want to get back in 2 days, because that'll show how fast I am, how good I am, and then they'll hire me because I'm so good and fast. That's not the case. All right. Yeah, sure, that might look really good, and if your shot is really good and you did it in 2 days, well, great. That doesn't determine whether you're going to get hired or not. That just says, oh, the person had these 2 days to do it, so he spent, 16 hours working on this shot, and he gave it back to us in 2 days. That's when he had time to do it. It's take the time you need. Take a deep breath. You got the test. Take a deep breath. Take the week. Take the 2 weeks. Take all the time, every last down to the second that you can, to do that test, because you want to make it look really good. If you want to get the job, you want to make it look as good as possible. So take as much time as they give you, okay? Also, another thing about tests, they aren't paying you to do this. They ask you to take the test. Don't be afraid to make mistakes in the test. Honestly, a good company will give you another round of feedback, because in the actual industry, when you get into the job, you are going to be given feedback. It's kind of unfair for a company to be hey, here's a test, you send them a test, and then they're oh, sorry, this isn't good enough. Well, that's not really fair. Even if they gave you a week, they should give you 2, maybe 3 rounds of feedback, see if you can hit that feedback, and if you can hit the feedback, then they should hire you. But for a company to send you a test and then they give it back and no feedback and say, sorry, you're not where we need to be, That's not okay to me in my eyes. Like, they should like send you feedback and give you feedback on your reel and on the shot that you're doing the test for, and let you hit those notes. I took a test for Steamroller a while back, years ago, and I was really appreciative because they said, here's a test, do it. I did it, I sent it back, and they gave me a round of feedback, and I sent it back to them, and I didn't get the job or whatever, but I really appreciated like the fact that they gave me a second round of feedback, because the first, like in the real world or in the real like job, like you're going to send your animations off to whoever, the lead, and the lead is going to give you feedback, maybe 2-3 rounds of feedback, and like after that, if the shot's good, they'll use it or they won't use it, but like you will get feedback, and that is legitimate. And also, if you are taking a test, like utilize the people around you to give you help on your test, right? And what I mean is like, don't have them do it for you, but like send your reel or like the shot to my Discord server or a friend or some friends, and like say, how does this look? I'm taking this test. Please give me feedback on this. It's like, that's totally legitimate. It's not cheating. That's what I sometimes I felt like that. That's not cheating. In the real world, again, you're going to get feedback. You're going to send your shots for feedback. It's like, use your shots and send it to your friends, send it to servers, send it to wherever. Like, you don't have to say this is a test. Just send it to them. Say how this is looking. I'm kind of on a tight deadline for this shot. Could you give me feedback? Whatever. But like, ask people for feedback. There's nothing wrong with that. And so you can get the job. Do whatever you need to get the job and do a good test, right? Because you would get feedback in the real world. So to recap, I think tests are fine. Personally, to me, I enjoy animating. The company needs to know where your skill level is at. Doesn't matter what your demo reel looks like unless unless your entire shot is filled with unless your entire demo reel is filled with amazing work, like maybe then. But like if your demo reel is filled with like good, cinematic work, and then there's some personal shots, and your personal shots aren't as strong as your like cinematic shots, like then yeah, the company needs to send you a test to see really where you're at on your own. And then like get feedback on your tests. Take as much time you need on your tests. Don't rush through it. It's going to come out bad if you just try and rush through and get it to them back to them fast. Anyway, guys, that's my personal opinion. I might get a lot of like feedback or like flack on this. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Please, as always, I have my Discord server. Come on, join. I will give you feedback on your shots, no matter what it's for. Please come by there. I'll leave the link in the comments. Please go check out my YouTube channel. There's a lot more of these advice videos if you're ever wondering about anything. And also, tons of free tutorials over there. Going to keep adding more and more. A lot of fun stuff coming up. I'll leave my Insta and my Twitter handle in the comments as well. You can find me anywhere. Thanks, guys. Happy animating.